Hello there, folks. Welcome back to the Slice Tennis News, checking in with you after an amazing Laver Cup. On this episode, we'll be wrapping up the Laver Cup that happened in Geneva and going over some of the best moments of the tournament and just watching some clips from that tournament as well. So we're going to get into all the moments, what I loved about it, what I thought was really unique about this year's tournament, and just, like I said, the best moments of the Laver Cup 2019. I'm glad you're here. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Slice.
Welcome to the Slice.
Welcome to the Slice.
Welcome back to the Slice, folks, and thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, I'm Stephen Boughton, and this is the Slice Tennis News, the place to be on the internet for tennis coverage. And if you were under a rock the last week, you would not have known that the Laver Cup was happening in Geneva. But it was, and it was absolutely epic. There were so many cool things that happened. And the Laver Cup, this was its third year happening. If you didn't know, it's a creation by Roger Federer to honor Rod Laver, who he thinks is the greatest tennis player of all time. And it's a competition where players from Europe battle against players from the rest of the world. Because if you didn't know, most of the best players in the world come from Europe. So they put them up against the rest of the world to create an epic tournament over a weekend where they go at it and the teams go at it. If you're looking for the format, you can watch my preview video. It'll be linked up. But what happened in this year's Laver Cup? Before we get into it, stay tuned to the end of this video for you to be able to see how you can get some of the Slice merch, support the Slice, support independent tennis journalism. And thank you for your support in advance. But we are covering the Laver Cup, which is right here. This is the Laver Cup. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get a pass this year, even though I was in communications with the Laver Cup people. So if you're watching this Laver Cup, thank you for even considering me. Next year, the tournament's going to be in Boston. 2020, it will be back in North America in Boston, which is going to be epic because Boston's like this color, no. And I've never been to Boston, and I would love to get the pass there. So here's to hoping for Boston 2020, the Slice at the Laver Cup. So anyways, the tournament was epic because this year is way tighter than it was the other years. And in coming in and halfway through the final day, the Sunday, Team World was up on Team Europe, and the huge upset might happen because if you didn't know, Team Europe is way more stacked than Team World. Like Federer and Nadal on Team Europe, enough said, but they also had like 4 other guys in the top 10. Team World had nobody in the top 10, but it turned out to be an amazingly tight match or tight contest because of some big wins by guys like Taylor Fritz over Dominic Thiem on the final day. And if you remember, the final day matches count for 3 points, where the second day matches count for 2 and the first day for 1. So the matches were big time in the final day. And then Sock and Isner, I think it was, beat Federer and Tsitsipas in the final day in doubles as well. So that was 6 points that the United States went up. So anyways, after the first day, it was 3-1 for Europe. After the second day, it was 7-5 for Europe. But then, like I said, Isner and Sock defeated Federer and Tsitsipas to make it 7-8 for World. So the World was up 8-7. And then Fritz defeated Thiem, which is a big upset, I think. And so the World was up 11-7. Now, they only needed to get 13 points to win the tournament. So if there's one more win in the next 2 matches for Team World, they would have won. So then we had Federer going versus Isner, and Federer played huge. He played massive to take out Isner, who was playing well. And it was a very tight match, and Federer won in 2 sets to save off elimination. And then it came down to the final match between Alexander Zverev and Milos Raonic to decide the Laver Cup, which is kind of an interesting matchup because it's not Federer or Nadal. Nadal was injured on the final day, so he didn't play at all. Federer had already played twice. So it was up to Zverev versus Raonic, who I don't know how the selection process works for that, but anyways, Raonic was selected to play, and Zverev came up massive to win, defeating Raonic in a little comeback victory there after losing the second set, with some inspiration by Federer and Nadal, which we're going to get into. But anyways, this Laver Cup was awesome because of how tight the whole tournament was. It was so intense because all the players get super into it, into this team atmosphere where it's like the guys right on the bench watching. Every point seems to matter. Every point there's a celebration. It's just an awesome team event for players who usually just play on their own on the circuit. So they obviously love playing in it because they're all so intense and stoked. And I just think it's insanely special to see guys, especially just Federer and Nadal on the same team, like hugging, cheering each other on, slapping each other on the back, and giving coaching advice to each other and to the young guns. So it was another amazing event. I think that the Laver Cup, this is my hot take, that the Laver Cup might be the best event on the ATP Tour. Now, this is obviously a very hot take because we got events like Wimbledon, the Australian Open, some of my other favorites. We got Indian Wells, Miami, some of the biggest tournaments. They're all awesome. But the Laver Cup is unique, and players seem to get more hyped for it than almost anything else. I haven't seen Roger Federer that stoked for winning a match for a long time. He was less stoked. He looked less stoked when he won Wimbledon 2017 than he did when he beat Isner in the final, or in the second last match of this. Anyway, so there's some great reasons why I love the Laver Cup in general, and 2019 Laver Cup did not disappoint. It was absolutely fantastic. So here are a couple of my favorite moments. One of my favorite moments was Coach Rafa. Now, this happened on him multiple times, but Rafael Nadal on this third day wasn't able to play, but he was giving coaching advice, and some of it was hilarious. So in this clip we're going to watch right here, Rafa is talking to Federer and Tsitsipas as they are playing their doubles match on Sunday, and he's giving some advice, and they're talking about it, and then Federer asks who should serve, and Nadal, kind of like a school kid, just like points at him, and he's like, anyways, just watch this. It's hilarious, and here we go.
If you decide on the second serve,
Laver Cup, I borrowed this from your Instagram. If you're watching this, I give you guys all credit. Laver Cup owns this footage.
If you decide,
stay back.
he has to stay back.
100%.
But yeah, Rafa's basically saying Tsitsipas has to stay back.
He has to stay back.
I told him, otherwise we're better than us.
Yeah, otherwise they have the advantage. But then he goes, who should serve?
We give people advantage. That's all the thing.
Who should serve? Same time.
Points. He's like, you should serve. So that's so good. Like, I just thought, like, where else do you see that? Like, the two greatest tennis players of all time talking and just like strategizing on how to win a match. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. And that's funny. I think Rafa's like, dude, you serve. Like, he's like, you're better than Tsitsipas anyways. Tsitsipas and the younger guys kind of got roasted. We're going to get into more of that. There's just another clip, though, of Rafa telling Roger, basically, we're going to play that now, to be patient against Nick Kyrgios.
Under 5 shots, when the point is going, you are winning more than him. You know, like 8-5 for you.
You see that? He says it's 8-5 for you. I checked the stats. You know?
I know it's difficult because this guy reads the ball so well.
No, I know, but I said maybe I'm patient and then go.
It's like,
Wait for the right one.
wait for the right one.
He's a little bit too comfortable.
Yeah, and Federer says he looks a bit too comfortable. Like, it's so cool to see the two best tennis players of all time, just their thoughts as it's coming. Like, they're not hiding anything, because it's not like the other team can see it. They're just talking Federer to Nadal. Really, really cool. So anyways, that's one of my favorite moments, is Coach Rafa getting in his players' ears, giving his opinions. And it's just hilarious. I've become a much bigger Rafa fan this year. And to me, it's just like, all debates about GOAT status and kind of like animosity between fans should really go away during this event, and maybe in general, but especially during this event when you see these two guys on the same team. Another one of my favorite moments, it was Team World's passion. Like, in past years, their celebrations kind of took center stage, and they said like Team World or Team Europe's old and boring. And to me, like, Team World brought a lot more, like more energy, probably just because they're younger, but they also just brought more focused intensity. Like, you saw Jack Sock getting super intense, winning, which is cool to see because he's obviously had a terrible year. But he's gotten back into this. Hopefully this can spur him back onto other things. So they looked more intense and focused this year, and they almost won because of it, except for when Nick Kyrgios, which we're going to play the clip, got distracted by a really hot girl, as he said. Now watch this. I mean, it's just so good. It's so good. Like, this is just like in the heat of competition, we can see that Nick's still funny. It kind of makes sense. You can relate to that probably. And yeah, that's just that's what goes through Nick's brain, I guess. And he caught the eye. He's like, I think he was asking his teammates, like, how do I ask her out while I'm on the court? It's like, maybe that happened during the end of the match, and that's why Federer was able to pull it out, because Nick was playing really well and taking it to Fed in a lot of that match. But anyways, that's one of my favorite moments as well from Team World there. A lot of this is focusing on Team Europe because I think it's special when we have Federer and Nadal still around. But another one of my favorite moments is two videos that we're going to look at. Federer and Nadal roasting Zverev and Tsitsipas. Now, this video comes from the final match of the tournament where Zverev defeated Isner, and Zverev was down because he lost the second set. Now they're headed into a super tiebreaker, and I guess they walked back into the change room and were coming out, and apparently Federer was just in Zverev's ear the entire time, dogging him about, you got to stay positive, you can't get down, and he's like cussing him out. Like, and that's so crazy to me because I can't relate to Federer, and nobody watching this can. None of us can relate to Federer on the court. On the court, he's in a different frame of reference. He's on a different planet, not the same creature. We're not even playing the same sport, me and Federer, when it comes to tennis. But I can understand like the way he's talking right now. He's literally cussing Zverev out. He's like, just anyways, just listen. It's hilarious.
Come for a let's go. Every fucking point you win, and every point you lose.
Doesn't matter, no one negative face. Now
the problem is when you don't have the season you want, it's always like, oh, I knew it, oh, fuck shit, I don't.
So he's just following him into the locker room there. He's just like cussing him out. He's like, look, mate, you gotta get your head in the game. You can't be talking like this. Don't get down. Don't say, oh, it's just, I didn't know Federer swore, but and that might tarnish his name or whatever to some people, but I think that shows that he's a human and that he thinks like everyone else does off the court, but on the court, he can just pull this level of tennis out that, honestly, in my opinion, no one has ever touched. So that's the part of him that's untouchable or unrelatable too, and then we can relate to him when he's like a coach, a frustrated coach trying to get his player in the game, and it seems to have worked on Zverev because then he walked out there and won the deciding tiebreaker, super tiebreaker, fairly convincingly against John Isner, and had one of it could be a turning point in his year because he hasn't had the greatest year, and that's what Federer and Nadal were in his ear saying. Like Federer's walking behind him like cussing him out. He's like, I don't want you to see your head down at all, and then Nadal in kind of his broken English is like, he's like, yes, no sad faces, no sad, like keep. Anyways, that was just so good. Great to see there. And also just another video here. Nadal is correcting Stefanos Tsitsipas in their huddle. Federer and Nadal and the coaches are all kind of laughing, roasting Stefanos. Here we're going to watch this one together because the hand motions that Stefanos was doing was wrong or something. So here it goes.
Be a little bit more clear, guys, with the finger. Because they're watching. I didn't understand where you go. Just do.
I can't read what you're doing, mate.
Let's do like this. You stay in the same place.
Like this,
you know.
Stay.
You go to your place. Any finger you close.
So all the other coaches are just having a great time with that, and it's just like, again, so cool to see these players in their element, like interacting with one another, because you never see that anywhere else in the ATP Tour. So anyways, those are some of my favorite moments from the Laver Cup this year. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic tournament. Again, I hope to be at Boston 2020. The Laver Cup, if you're watching this is my official application. We're wearing green. Get us to Boston, and we'd love to provide even better coverage for the fans. But to wrap this video up, the Laver Cup wrap-up, Europe wins its third tournament in a row. 3 out of 3 Europe has won, so I feel like a big Team World victory is coming in the future, and that's going to be absolutely epic when it does. Who is the MVP for the Laver Cup, I think? I don't know who it has been for the last two. It's probably been Federer because he kind of created this thing. And I'm giving it to Roger Federer again in this one. He took care of business in both of his singles matches. He lost in the doubles. That was probably Stefanos Tsitsipas' fault, not going to lie. But actually, I saw Federer like trying to poach really hard on a couple of the doubles, like a lot of the doubles highlights, and he was getting passed down the line. Like, he's so aggressive in general. Maybe he just gets extra over aggressive in doubles and like leaves the line open. I don't know. But in his singles matches against Kyrgios and then Isner, he played clutch, and he also displayed otherworldly serving. Against Isner in the final match, for example, he got 75% of his first serves in. So you might be like, 75, that's an insanely high number. So you might be like, oh, he's just rolling those serves in, getting a high percentage in. No, he also had 13 aces, and he served at 91% of his first serves percentage, or 91% of his first serves that he got in, he won. So he's absolutely dominant on serve. Matched Isner for his serving, which Isner's arguably the best server on tour, biggest server ever. And stuck it out and just played a clutch match where he had to win that one for Team Europe to stay in it, not lose. And then, he coached Zverev. He cussed him out enough to get Zverev over the line in the final match to help Team Europe secure the victory. So my MVP is Roger Federer for the 2019 Laver Cup. Who's your MVP? What were some of your favorite moments? Let me know in the comment section below. So thank you guys for watching. I enjoy the Laver Cup so much. I hope to be there in Boston in 2019. We got the Laver Cup here. We want to come to Boston and get it. If you like this video, share it with a friend, somebody who missed the Laver Cup. Also, please consider supporting independent journalism like myself, the Slice Tennis News. To do that, you can either join the Front Row Show, which is our Patreon account. If you haven't heard of Patreon, it's a way to support content creators like myself. Pay a small monthly fee, which for us is $4. You get access to a discount code for the merch, $5 off any item. And you get the Front Row Show, which happens twice a month for free. You get to decide the topics of the show and we interact. And basically you just help this get better. We're going to do more things in the future, get to more tournaments, maybe get people working for us so I can hopefully quit my day job and do this full time. So thank you for the support. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for checking out the website, theslicetennis.com, which is where you can buy all this merch. So check it out. Go to theslicetennis.com to support the Slice. The Laver Cup was absolutely epic. We will see you next time.